Executive Officer of the Center for Responsible Business. And the Center for Responsible Business is a think tank working on sustainable business issues. And we are very delighted to welcome Dr. Shatadru Chattopadhyay, Managing Director of Solidarity Asia. Hi, Shatadru. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, good afternoon, Rigid. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for inviting me in this discussion.
And thank you so much for this very exciting partnership that Solidaridad, Region Agri, and CRB are initiating on sustainable cotton and regenerative cotton, which is, I think, an extremely timely initiative, and we are very, very honored to be part of this intervention in partnership with the two organizations. So while we will in this conversation, we would like to hear from you about the work that your organization has been doing on regenerative agriculture. Just to for the friends who've joined us here today, maybe just to set the context, what we can highlight. And of course, this is very well known that historically the practice of agriculture in our country has largely been focused on production. And that was essentially the need of the hour at one point of time, and helped us in ensuring that we were self-sufficient across most of the agri commodities. But of course, this had also come at a cost, as in many parts of the country, the indiscriminate application of chemical inputs, excessive use of water, and unsustainable practices have also had implications on soil quality, availability of organic matter in soil, water, local biodiversity, and of course also on the health of communities. And it's very interesting now that we have just about starting this partnership, and it's very timely that very recently the government of India has, through the National Mission on Natural Farming, initiated sort of a countrywide movement towards transitioning to natural farming and of course regenerating the natural systems that support farming in our country. So we feel that this is a very, very timely initiative, and extremely excited as we start this program. So for friends and viewers who are on the channel, we are launching this initiative, and we're calling it Reclaim to Regenerate, towards regenerative cotton sector in India, through an event that is jointly being organized by Solidaridad, Region Agri, and CRB on the 29th of November in Nagpur. So through this, we would like to also invite all the cotton and textile sector value chain actors to join us in Nagpur. So very happy, Shatadru, that we are starting this initiative. And maybe I would like to sort of indulge you in a bit of a discussion, if I may, on the issue, and starting with your thoughts, being leading the work of Solidaridad, not just in Asia and not just in India, but in Asia, on several issues and commodities on agriculture. Why do you think regenerative agriculture's time has come? Why do you think it is the right time, and your vision about regenerative agriculture of Solidaridad? If you can throw some light on that.
Sure. Thank you, Rigid. First of all, it is a great privilege for Solidaridad to partner with Center for Responsible Business for this very important and disruptive exercise of setting up a platform for regenerative agriculture in cotton sector. We are looking forward to further cementing our ties and further taking forward this partnership. Now, coming to the regenerative agriculture, I think for your viewers, for our partners, it is important that we look at some facts. The loss of world's fertile soil and biodiversity today poses a mortal threat to our future survival. We all talk about it, but according to many soil scientists we have been interacting with in our work, the current rate of soil destruction in a few decades could lead to severe land degradation. It could lead to desertification in many parts of the world. It can pose risk to flood, and it can also pose risk for food and livelihood security. And an area of arable land greater than the size of England is abandoned every year due to land degradation, meaning more rainforest and savannas need to be plowed up to replace this loss. So this is the situation we are facing. Now, if I have to bring it to Indian situation, in India, we, as you would know, we have around 328 million hectares of land roughly. Out of that, or a geographical area, we can say, out of that, let's say 157 to 158 million hectare is agricultural land, which is second largest agricultural land globally after United States. But you know what? As per the National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning, out of 328, 29 million, which we talked about, there is also another 146, 147 million hectares, which is already degraded, which is roughly an area little less than all European agricultural land. And this degradation is not just stopped, it is still increasing. We see it in our work all the time. On the top of that, as you know, Rijit, we have been working on these issues together. You have been doing it on your own. Also, the water problem is assuming a very dangerous proposition in India, already containing only 17.5% or 18% of, we have around 18% of the world population roughly, and only 4% of the world's water resources. And agriculture is the main reason for withdrawal of this future freshwater security in India. These are all creating some problem. Now, to restore degraded land, uh, regenerative agriculture practices such as crop diversification, tree planting, reduced tillage, mulching, water conservation techniques, uh, these can all kind of spur benefits for both agribusinesses and society. These techniques improve yields through increased soil nutrient and organic content, but it also leads to reduce soil erosion and improve water retention. So this is one component of why we are looking at regenerative agriculture. But there is a second and critical dimension to it. Regenerative agriculture, today in the climate change talks, which we all saw in Egypt, and even otherwise, everybody is trying to keep the temperature within 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Celsius, the global warming. But as you know, after the talks of COP27 in Egypt, there are many people who believe we are still slipping on this target. And interestingly, agriculture is one of the largest producers of greenhouse gases. We often don't talk about it. In fact, as per the IPCC, they estimate that out of around 24% of total anthropogenic emissions are coming from the agriculture sector. But at the same time, the agriculture sector holds the rare potential not only drastically reduce emissions, but also to sequester, the carbon back into the atmosphere and back into the soil, providing a natural way to limit global warming while also allowing the farmers to gain a livelihood. Now, let me give you an interesting figure, Rigid. This is interesting. If all global agricultural land is to be converted, let's say a hypothetical situation, that's what we are working for. Let's see all the agricultural land is converted to regenerative system. It would have ability to sequester more than 37.5 gigaton of carbon per annum, which is more than the current level of global emission. Now coming to these are the two major factors why we believe that the farmers could contribute for the global warming. At the same time, it could help them to earn a sustainable livelihood while reducing water use and improving the degradation of their land, or rather reducing degradation of their land. Now, quickly coming to the last part of it, coming to the solidarity vision, I think regenerative agriculture is the next step forward from sustainable agriculture. Solidaridad has been doing sustainable agriculture for a very long time. But I think, in fact, regenerative agriculture is the sustainable agriculture of this decade. We envisage regenerative agriculture will bring economic benefits for the smallholder farmers while helping sequester carbon, while all the while stabilizing the security of international supply chains through fostering resiliency in the land and communities. Solidaridad has set a internal target of transforming 1 million hectares of land to regenerative practices in the next 5 years. So that's the vision with which we are working, Rigid. Thank you. I hope I could
Yeah,
address.
yeah. Well, this is very interesting, and I think all of this was part and has been the part of the Indian tradition of agriculture and the Indian system of farming historically. In several parts of India, regenerative agriculture practices like the ones that you mentioned was until recently practiced, but I think we've sort of lost the plot in the last 50 years. Rather than focusing in certain areas on production, I think the practices got indiscriminately spread across, and therefore has really disrupted. And as you rightly mentioned, regenerative agriculture is really the sustainable agriculture practice of the decade, and I think the government of India, and of course India, can really play a very leadership role on globally on this issue, because um, still some of these elements of the regenerative agriculture, natural farming, are still part of our ethos. So we don't have to really sort of make a lot of investment in sort of unlearning these things. It can probably be reinstated into our culture of farming. Um, of course, there is a conversation. There should also be a conversation at some point of time in terms of who's interested in farming. Are the farmers interested in farming going forward, and how do we make it sort of a very attractive proposition for farmers and their children and their future generations to continue farming, and who really are going to farm. Uh, Now, in having set the context of regenerative agriculture and having highlighted the importance of regenerative agriculture, as you said, I think we are in this process of trying to develop this platform for regenerative agriculture, specifically in the cotton sector. And that's very, very interesting in terms of things that you mentioned a little while ago, in terms of how the global sort of value chain actors, and it could really probably be a great tool if you look at the Indian suppliers, producers on one side, the cotton and textile sector, and the international MNCs, buyers, brands, investors on the other. How do we create that collaboration is perhaps where this partnership is going to sort of focus on. So in the cotton sector, Shatudru, if I may ask you for sharing some of your thoughts, given your organization's experience. How do you see the application of regenerative agriculture really being a win-win between these two stakeholders? The producers, suppliers, from India, and of course the global value chain actors, the buyers and brands who've made those commitments, as you said, of ensuring not just
Mhm.
the smallholder livelihood, but also contribution to combat climate. So if you can share some thoughts there.
Sure, Rijit. Again, I mean, thanks for building up the context so very adequately what you captured. I think what we are looking at is kind of a solution that works for government, that works for farmers, that work for businesses. And interestingly, this 29th of November event, which we both are jointly organizing, both the organization. Basically, I'm looking at, amongst many other things, two fundamental things which I would like to share with our, viewers. One is, we would like this is a forum where we will be introducing the world's most effective regenerative agriculture standard called Regen Agri. It is a joint initiative, this Regen Agri, of Control Union and Solidaridad. If you allow me a little bit of a bragging, both of these organizations are giants in the space of sustainability. And Regen Agri, this standard, which is based out of UK, but operates across the world, supports farms and organizations transitioning to a holistic farming method, increasing soil health, encouraging biodiversity, and it also reduces greenhouse gas emissions while sequestering carbon. Now, Regen Agri also provides farmer with routes to additional funds through carbon credit markets. You were asking the question of how that we create a win-win for the farmers. And it also allows with some kind of environmental subsidies for the farmers. The regional agri standard is kind of interesting component which I find as a kind of an exclusive partner of region agri. It offers a one-stop solution for everything related to regenerative agriculture. It includes advisory by solidarity experts across the world, very noted professionals who have worked on the regenerative agriculture, project design document development, which is very critical for carbon verification process, validation and verification through one of the reputed agencies like Control Union. All this kind of creates, and these are all connected to the Cool Farm tool, which is globally agreed as a mechanism for registering or assessing the carbon. And then it also offers a registered online platform which provides GHG calculation for every crop that is declared. So these are a few things. These are the things which we are launching. In India, Solidaridad introduced Region Agri for cotton by certifying around 8,000 cotton farmers. And today, you will be very happy to know, Rigid, they are already getting a they're getting a price premium for their regenerative agriculture certification. While we have measured, they have significantly reduced input cost. And region agri, unlike organic, gives the space to the farmers to improve things over a period of time. They don't have to go back to square one if they fail in the third year. Some of these farmers will be given recognition when, during our event for their outstanding results with the regional agriculture. And we have set a target to reach around 25,000 farmers with regenerative agriculture in next 12 to 18 months even. So that's the kind of target which is setting. So for brands, it becomes important because it's also the one-stop solution suits many brands. Today, many fashion brands are looking to achieve environmental targets. We see those kind of science-based targets, carbon claims, carbon verification, net zero carbon emissions, or their intent and goal or vision of increasing biodiversity. These can all happen literally from the green shoots of their supply chain. And increasingly, they can look at regenerative agriculture as a mechanism. My expectation is many brands will be able to understand how we can jointly, Solidaridad, CRB, can create win-win partnerships in the cotton supply chain using regenerative region agri certification and greenhouse gas and carbon data verification. So that is one. And my second expectation, something you touched upon during your discussion about our culture and where we kind of moved away from our culture. I think regenerative agriculture is so rooted in our ancient values. If you look at the word tula, or in Bengali we call it tulo, right? It has a two meaning in Sanskrit. It has a dual meaning. One that reflects, how cotton has, which means cotton in other simple terms, but it also means balance or equivalent, tola, you know. And so I think from there, our goal is to always been, our ancestors always thought about creating a sustainable equilibrium all through the cotton value chain from soil to the garment throughout, be it in the Khadi movement or before that. And the regenerative cotton platform, which we hope that could be set up during this process of discussion in Nagpur, could spur agri-businesses, investors, donors, and Indian government institutions to accelerate support and reward farmers to transition to regenerative agriculture. And then in this process, improve all of our future. Uh, this is important for us because hope the regenerative cotton platform members will support Solidaridad's ground team in making India the world's leading regenerative cotton producer in the next 5 years. So these are two broad expectations amongst many expectations which we
Right,
have
right.
during the meeting.
No, this is very, very fascinating and extremely interesting. The perspective that you brought about Tula being cotton and also being the balance, and of course, the third is that it's also the Hindi of the sun sign Libra, which is
Exactly.
basically the balance. So very interesting, and I think from our perspective as at the Center for Responsible Business, we are very, very excited and happy, and we believe very strongly that sustainability is such a complex, multidimensional problem that you need different actors to come together, and that is what we are trying to do through this program. And very happy to also share, as you are aware, and with our viewers, that quite a number of brands have responded very, very positively to this event, and not just to the event, but also to this program. So we are going to have, I think, about more than a dozen brands at the event. Also, buyers of cotton, the large buyers of cotton, government and industry association stakeholders. So really bringing together the most critical um, the stakeholders, and of course doing it in Maharashtra, which has been the seat of, Wardha has been the seat of, as you said, traditional agriculture for so many years and such a long time. And of course, the Maharashtra government has also expressed their support and interest in this initiative. So it is very, very exciting. It is extremely timely, and that's what makes this a very attractive and a very, very sort of critical partnership. And one last thing that I also wanted to highlight, maybe to our viewers, and you touched upon it, Shatadru, which is that and to our understanding, there is this element of continuous improvement that is integrated into the Region Agri certification system. It's not just a system that appreciates and recognizes the farmer when he or she reaches a particular sort of level, and sort of looks at this. I mean, at CRB, we talk about this binary of sustainability. Unfortunately, we've transformed sustainability into this binary of whether you are, it's either a yes or a no. But what really drew us to this whole initiative was, in Region Agri, you talk about this continuous improvement and recognition and support, and sort of inspiration to the farmers and the producers to really move into that direction. That really is, as you said, I think initially, a very disruptive element of the whole sort of initiative, and we really feel to be learning, and as we implement this together in Maharashtra and other parts of India. I know we are also sort of coming to the close, but just one last question about, if, as I said, a lot of stakeholders are getting excited about this. So what would be your message to some of the people who are listening in, and also the stakeholders to be part of this initiative going forward?
Well, firstly, thank you again. And I think we are very fortunate that the world's first region agri platform is getting set up for cotton in India, our home country, and that too in Maharashtra, which is probably can be considered as the home of cotton. As we many of us know that cotton and that cotton spinning emerged and originated in South Asia, in India. So and our ancient practices are coming back home. So that is very heartwarming for me. And both of us able to play a little role in that, in facilitating that, is also very, very heartwarming. Oh, we are humbled by the response that has come, which you were just mentioning, from the government of Maharashtra, from the cotton farmer community also. From Maharashtrian cotton farmers have given their blessing to such a program, who will all be there. Various agricultural universities of Maharashtra and national as well as international cotton, apparel, and textile businesses that you referred to, we feel privileged that all of you taken time out from your busy schedule at the end of the year to come over for discussing such an important topic. We sincerely hope to learn from your diverse experiences in making regenerative agriculture good for businesses, society, and the environment. So, all of you, in my view, whichever stakeholder group you belong to, is in a position to influence when it comes to bringing about positive changes in the Indian cotton sector using this regenerative agriculture. When cotton farmers adopt regenerative practices, they can boost biodiversity, they can improve soil quality, they can regulate water in one location. Many of you, as businesses, are already adopting regenerative agriculture in response to current and anticipated challenges which we see. And we have also witnessed yield impacts ranging from 68% up to 300%. Companies seeing these changes to production as a result of degraded land are beginning to understand the potential impact of inaction. Not doing anything is not really an option for us anymore. When you, as a brand, engage with your entire supply chain to introduce regenerative practices, the effects are seen at scale, with regenerative products becoming the norm in the supply chain. So I'm looking forward to interact with all of you and support in your journey of regenerative agriculture.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Shatadru, and I'm sure our viewers and of course the cotton and textile sector actors would be very interested and drawn to this initiative. And from our interaction with different stakeholders, we see that already. And as I said, also this is very timely because, as you might be aware, and many of our colleagues would be aware, that the Ministry of Textiles has really taken this this initiative also. So there are these two actors, the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Textiles. So not just the National Mission on Natural Farming, but also at the which is at the Ministry of Agriculture, but also the Ministry of Textiles has set up a working group or a group working on sustainability and circular textiles for the first time in India, and they are really keen to see how the upstream can also contribute in terms of developing a sustainable and circular textile sector. So all in all, this sounds very exciting and timely. And as I said, the CRB is very privileged and honored to be part of this program and to learn from this initiative and to also contribute our 2 cents into it. So thank you once again, Shatadru, for your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And look forward to a very exciting partnership, not just limited to cotton and to Maharashtra, but also to other sectors on regenerative agriculture, which is very close to CRB's goal and vision as well. So thank you once again, inviting all the cotton and textiles value chain actors to join us in Nagpur on the 29th of November at the Le Méridien Hotel, and looking forward to this lovely, enriching conversation once again. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.